Oh shit. Oh shit.
Now. Woo!
Oh shit.
I have a surprise for you guys. Check this out. Does it get any better than this? Wow, it's so much bigger in real life.
Oh shit.
Hi guys, I've had the bike now for a year and 10 months, roughly speaking. I've had the bike since May of 21, and I currently have 17,314 miles on it. And I wanted to do a update video on my experience as an owner, and I wanted to share everything that I've learned with you guys, good and bad, in hopes that this is going to help you make a decision. Or if you've already bought the bike, this will give you an idea of what to expect as an owner in the future. Let me find a quiet spot over here, park up, and we'll talk about all the details. In this video, we're going to be talking about the mods and accessories, maintenance schedule, cons. We're going to do a DCT segment. And this year, we're going to be talking about all the reported problems that we've had for the model year 21 and 22. Let me start by saying that the most important mods that I've done to the bike to make the bike more comfortable for me are the risers, the seat, and the screen. I highly recommend that you guys do that if you plan on doing long distance riding. Let's go over all the mods that I've done to the bike. We'll start from the front and work our way to the back. The first thing is, as you see, it's the Batwing. I know the new touring model came out and they have a different Batwing. One thing you want to keep in mind is the Batwing generates a whistle at speeds of 40 miles an hour and above. And the reason why it does that, there is a gap right here, which makes that noise. So if you put some weather stripping right here between the screen and the Batwing, you eliminate that. The screen that comes with the Batwing is sufficient to block the wind off your torso and shift it up to your helmet, so approximately chin level or eye level depending on your height. For some people that's plenty. It is a night and day difference on the highway if you're riding without a screen. If you are looking for more comfort, you will need to replace the screen with a taller one. I do have a video, and I'll link that video in the description below, and I'll show you a clip, the difference between the OEM screen and the taller screen that I did, and show you where the wind blast is. As you saw in the video, it's pretty obvious that with the taller screen, it pushes the air over the helmet and it makes the ride so much more comfortable, especially on long distances. Additionally, the taller screen is a big relief in winter because it does push the air above you and it does keep you a little bit warmer. I also have the quad lock with the wireless charger, and I love this thing. I've had it now for a year and a half or so, and it works extremely well. Love it. One note, keep in mind, I highly recommend that you guys use the cable that quad lock provides, because it does seal this port over here. I used a different cable and it let water come in when I was riding in the rain, which wasn't good. I also have the heated grips on. I like them, but if it is a choice that you have to make, I would recommend that you go with heated gloves versus the heated grips. If you can get both, it is definitely worth it. However, keep in mind, it's $300 for the grips and an additional $300 to get them installed. They are a pain to do it yourself. I recommend that you have the dealership do it. If not, getting a pair of heated gloves is only going to cost you $200, and it works much better in my opinion. The OEM heated grips are really nice because it is integrated into the dash. So when you press this button right here, that takes it up to level 5. Do you see right there? If you press again, it goes down to level 4. Press it one more time. 3, 2, 1. Press and hold. Off. Once again, once you press it, you get this symbol right here. The next mod I want to talk about are the risers. These are 4-inch rocks pivoting risers. I have a detailed video to go over everything you need to know about doing the project yourself. I highly recommend them, especially if you are a shorter rider. I'm 5'7", so these came in really handy. Additionally, I want to point out that I installed these bolt caps over here. As you can see, that's what it looks like. You can get them from Amazon. I'll include a link. It makes it look much nicer. I also installed these SW Motech engine guards, and I really like the look. Excellent quality. And unfortunately for me, I ended up dropping the bike, so it was a real-life test, and this is the damage that resulted. That scratch right there. The Batwing also touched the ground, as well as the mirror, but the tank was saved. Enjoy the clip.
Oh shit. Oh my god.
Good thing we have the crash bars, right? This year I upgraded my heated gear. I went with Warm and Safe, and I'm using their wireless heat troller. And the cool thing about it is that you can run it off the battery or have it plugged in if you choose. I'll do a follow-up video on this, but it's working great. I'm very pleased with it. I also ended up upgrading my front brakes to the EBC Double H. These are the OEM ones, and they turned out to be Double H as well, so there wasn't much of a difference, to be honest with you, so I wouldn't recommend changing the OEM. Just stick to them. They work great. These actually have 7,000 miles on them, and they're still brand new. One of the best mods that I've done to the bike is installing these Metzeler cruistec tires on it. I cannot recommend these highly enough, you guys. Look, these have 10,000 miles on them right now. They still look brand new. I don't see any wear whatsoever. They provide outstanding high-speed stability on the highway. You don't feel the bumps as much. It makes the bike feel like you have better suspension. That's if I want to try to sum it up. I have a review, I'll link it. That way, if you guys are interested, you can take a look at it. Cold weather performance is phenomenal. You don't feel any difference between riding in hot weather and cold weather. Cold weather meaning in the 30s, so close to 0 Celsius. They perform extremely well in the wet. I did extensive riding in wet conditions, and I love the way that they handle. I'm so impressed with these tires. I cannot recommend them highly enough. While we're here, I also ended up installing a tire pressure monitoring system. This is called the Phobo 2. I highly recommend it, you guys. It works extremely well. It's connected to an app and you can see your pressures live. Highly recommended. Check them out. I had also installed highway pegs, which I installed right here, but I didn't end up liking the look, so I took them off. But they do definitely work. I'll include a link and a picture. Also, I ended up installing these foot pegs right here. I'll also include a video so you guys can see what it's all about. I love these, by the way. I installed the OEM tank pads as well, and I really like them. I did a lot of experimentation with seats, and what worked for me in terms of my riding style of wanting to ride long distance, the Corbin won, even though it sacrificed reach to the ground as well as reach to the bar. So just keep that in mind. If you are a shorter person, the Mustang will definitely be a better choice for you. Regarding the passenger seat, in my experience, the Mustang passenger seat works great. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I ended up changing the color of the backrest to match the brown of the other seats. And it looks much better this way, in my opinion. And an update on the Legend bags that I went with from SW Motech. I still absolutely love them. I love them so much, I ended up getting a second set, which are the smaller size. So these, as you can see, are the large. And these are the small ones installed. As you can see, I still have the SW Motech tool bag and I absolutely love it. On the bags, the cool thing about it is that it's a MOLLE system. As you can see, I have a bottle holder attached right here. And let me show you on the other side. SW Motech also makes this pouch that I attached. I also have a crazy idea to get an SLC carrier and modify it to attach right here, and then attaching one of the bags in this fashion. Possibly also in the front, or having two back to back. And this is that crazy idea about the SLC carrier I told you about. Not bad at all. Let's take a closer look. This is a good opportunity to show how to attach and detach the SLC system. You see this release button right here? You depress it down and pull. So these 3 points mount over here. This is how I have it attached temporarily. Maybe this will give you ideas. I'm still using the custom exhaust that I had from last year, and I actually love it. So I don't plan on changing anything unless I see something that I absolutely love. I also changed the rear brake pads to the EBC Double H, and they were a significant improvement over the OEM ones. If I am to put a number on it, I'll say at least 20% improvement. You get better bite, you don't get any brake fade, and the braking power is linear. I also have a review video if you guys want to check it out. These are the OEM pads, and you can see they're still brand new. These have 7,500 miles on them, just to give you an idea of what the wear pattern is like. Regarding future mods, I will be interested in considering a new seat like the SW Motech. They make it in Europe, but not in the States. So if I can get my hands on one, I'd be really happy to try one out. Additionally, I would like to try out a backrest for the rider. I also would love a fender eliminator, but I don't want to splice any cables. I would prefer a plug and play option. Additionally, a side license plate holder would also be quite nice. I haven't been able to find one that I actually like because of the saddlebags as well. I would like to get new mirrors, but I still haven't found anything that looks great and functions well. I would also like to get some auxiliary lights or fog lights, but I want them to be integrated with turn signals and replace the ones that we currently have. So just one unit. I'll include a picture so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I will also consider a new exhaust if I see something that looks really cool. And if I see some saddlebags that I like, I will definitely consider trying them out. I still haven't been able to get a steering damper for the Rebel. So if I do find one, I will definitely update everybody. Regarding the maintenance schedule, I'm going to include a picture of the service manual so you guys can take a look. I'll also include a link to a playlist that I've created with all the maintenance that I've done to the bike. So the first oil change is at 600 miles, the next one is at 8,000 miles, and the one after that, 16,000 miles. Your chain, you need to maintain it every 600 miles. You also need to drink the crankcase breather tube every 4,000 miles. The air filter needs to be done at 12,000 miles. Spark plugs need to be checked at 16,000 miles, but if you're gonna go in there, you might as well replace them, right? Brake fluid change, you need to do that once a year, more if needed. Regarding the tires, the OEM tires, they will last you at least 8,000 miles, you guys, and they are great. So don't feel like you will be replacing your tires very soon. They could last you probably 2 years if you're only doing 4,000 a year. The crankcase breather tube is often overlooked and people don't know where it is or how to drain it or where to find it. So do you see this cable right here? Pull it out slowly. And that's it. Do you see all this liquid inside of it? This is actually oil coming from the engine up into the air box and then draining down into this tube, and you should keep an eye on this. Now the tube is long, it goes all the way up there, so you have plenty of room for the fluid to sit in. But let's drain it together so you guys can see what it looks like. Squeeze this. Turn it upside down so that it doesn't leak when you take the cap off. Take the cap off slowly. You see it? And then drain it into a bottle. Then put the cap back on and wipe it clean. And then the retaining clip, and you're done. This is what the new sprockets look like. This is OEM, by the way. This is the rear, and I'll include close-ups so you guys can see the difference if there is anywhere. But at 17,000 miles, you can barely see anywhere on it, so these will last you at least 30,000. And this is what the front one looks like. At 17,000 miles, I wanted to show how much more chain adjustment I have left. You see this notch right here? When it gets all the way to the red, you don't have any more adjustment and it's time to replace your chain. If you guys have any concerns about the Rebel's reliability, a friend of mine recently completed a trip from the East Coast to the West Coast and back again in about 37 days. And she did it solo with a Rebel 1100 manual. And I'll include a short video so you guys can see her trip. Here are the cons that I've experienced as an owner of the Rebel 1100 DCT. The first thing is the seat. The OEM seat sucks, period. The way to fix that is definitely to either change the cushion of the OEM seat or to buy either a Corbin or a Mustang seat. I have a video that I'll link below so that you guys can check it out to see if this is something that you're interested in. The second con that I had with the bike is the forward lean angle. So the reach to the bars was way too far for me. I'm a shorter rider, so 5'7", and it created a lot of lower back pain as well as shoulder and neck pain. Some people complain about the foot peg positions, but after some time I got used to it. I actually prefer that because it's a little bit more sporty feeling, and I found a workaround in terms of the comfort when I'm touring. Another con that I've experienced is that the hazard lights don't stay on when you stop on the side of the road and turn the ignition off. I'm going to demonstrate so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. It's a little bit frustrating in my opinion. The ignition is on and the hazard lights are on. Let's see what happens when I take the key out. Do you see? That's a bit annoying. Something else that I've experienced and many other riders have experienced is that the bike does exhibit a speed wobble. I'm going to include a short video so you guys can see what it looks like from the rider's perspective. But yes, over 85 miles an hour, when you're accelerating hard and if you hit some small bumps, the bike does have a tendency to wobble. Now, I did two things to eliminate the speed wobble. First of all, I increased the preload on the suspension. I took mine up all the way to maximum, which is 18 clicks. I know not a lot of people are going to be happy with that, but that's what worked for me. It's still comfortable. I have no issues whatsoever. I recommend it if you are more of a sports bike oriented kind of rider. The second thing that I did is I got these cruistec tires, and I cannot recommend them highly enough. They are incredibly stable at high speed, and I'm going to include a short clip to show you once I was testing it to see at speeds over 85 miles an hour that the wobble was eliminated. Let's try it again. Wow. Wow, what a big difference, you guys. Huge difference. The other thing that I've experienced is that with a DCT in slow traffic, very slow maneuvers, it does get a little bit jittery. Now, you can overcome that by actuating the rear brake, and then you can use that as a friction zone. And I'm going to demonstrate how stable the bike becomes once you use that technique. All right, guys, this is a quick demonstration of how to use the rear brake. You see how now I'm struggling to keep it level? Watch this. I apply the brake. You can see it in the other camera. See how stable? Watch this. With one hand. So it's just you're modulating the brake and the throttle. Throttle, you keep it steady in one position, one locked position, and you have the brake pedal applied. Do you see how stable the bike becomes? This is one of the benefits of the DCT versus the manual. Another con that I came to find is that at night, the controls don't actually light up. So your indicator, your horn, all of those controls don't actually light up at night. I didn't think that it would be an issue, but when you ride at night, it's amazing that you actually feel that it is an issue. A lot of riders complain about the small tank. Initially, I thought that the tank was a little bit small, but to be honest with you, after riding for 17,000 miles, long distance, every time that I go for a ride, it's at least 250 miles. For me, it actually worked in my advantage because I like to stop every hour to take a break. Stopping every hour is very important because you refresh your mind, you relax, you get back on the bike. It is a safety issue. This is the section that I would have been looking for if I was researching to buy a bike like this. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys and share all the problems that I experienced, as well as everything that was shared in the Facebook group, as well as on YouTube and other resources on the forums. Let me get a little bit closer so I can show you the most common problem that many have experienced. I haven't personally experienced it yet, but you never know. In this area is where the biggest flaw of the Rebel 1100 lies. This is the alternator cover. Now, there are three areas over here that have a tendency to fail. One is right here. This is the second one. And the third is right here. The crankshaft hole cap and the timing hole cap are not as serious because it's an O-ring that sometimes does not seat properly during manufacturing. And it's an easy fix because all they're going to do is just change the O-ring. And I'm going to include a picture to show you what it looks like when it leaks from over here. The stator cable comes out from this area over here. This is the rubber grommet that kind of seals everything in. This is where the majority of those oil leaks have been reported. It's an easy grommet to replace, not a big deal. However, it is a pain in the ass, and this is the most common oil leak issue that the bike has. Another oil leak location is the DCT filter. Now, this is not a mechanical fault. It's just the O-ring. Sometimes when people are installing them, the O-ring doesn't seat properly, and as a result, you'll have a whole bunch of oil sprayed this way. And I'll include a couple of pictures. Another reported oil leak is from the crankcase breather tube. Now, this cable goes all the way here. I'm going to include a picture to show you the length of it. And at the press fitting where this connects to the airbox, sometimes it is not fully seated, and as a result, a little bit of oil leaks out. Very easy fix, push it in, done deal. Another reported problem from some of the owners is the fork seals leaking. I'll show a picture so that you guys can see what it looks like. Recently, there's been quite a few owners reporting that the OEM tires, the Dunlops, have cracking. I'm going to show a picture so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. I didn't experience that, but some have. Another commonly reported problem are these side covers falling off. Now, these are retained by the screw right here, this plastic screw. And I'm going to illustrate why that might happen. I'm going to take it off so I can show you. This is the clip that holds together this plastic piece over here and this one over here. There's a hole on the bin and a hole on the cover over here. Do you see how it's moving on the inside? You see how you have to have them aligned? Now what happens is that when you're pushing this in, once this goes in, sometimes, look what just happened, right? Sometimes the actual clip as it's going in does not align and pushes this down, but it doesn't seat fully. What that happens over time, this loosens up and then it falls out. There are two ways to fix it. One, make sure when it's being installed that it goes all the way in through both pieces to hold them in place. And two, what people have done is put a zip tie right here holding the two pieces together. Due to the complex electronics on the Rebel, it is prone to having some electrical sensitivity, if I want to call it that. So I've actually personally experienced that. I had attached something to the battery for my heated gear, and as a result, my ABS started acting up. It started flashing, as well as my traction control, and I'm going to include a video to show you what that looks like. Unfortunately, the ABS light came back on. It turned out to be a faulty wire on that harness that I had installed. Once I removed it, the problem disappeared, and of course I'm super happy about that. So take note, if you're planning on attaching anything to the bike, keep in mind that it is quite sensitive. And the reason that it is sensitive is that it has cruise control as well as ABS and traction control. And the way that that system works is it monitors the electrical current, the voltage, and if it sees any fluctuations whatsoever, as a safety precaution, it disengages these systems. Some owners have reported that the cruise control does not work. Now, a couple of things could be causing this. One, the actual brake pedal with your right foot. Sometimes it is not set correctly and it's very sensitive. The moment your foot touches it, it engages the brake light. And once the brake light circuit is engaged, that is what the cruise control is reading, and that is the signal it's waiting for it to disengage. That is easily fixed by adjusting the brake light sensitivity, and I have a video on how to do that. I'll link that below. Others have reported that their cruise control is not working after they installed electrical components such as brake controllers or tail tidies. And once again, once you splice into the cables, the system will detect some sort of voltage fluctuation, and as a result will disengage the cruise control for your safety. A friend of mine experienced the bike overheating due to the radiator fan not working, and as a result the coolant was leaking from the bike. I'll show a short video so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. The cause of it was two relays going bad. We don't know if that was caused because of electrical components attached to the bike or not. My gut feeling tells me that it is a result of attaching electrical components to the bike, which led to that failure. I've seen a few owners on the forum reporting that the battery has died within 1 year. I've had the bike close to 2 years now, and my battery has not died yet. I do have a backup brand new battery that I keep just in case that failure is about to happen. I can replace it, but I'm using this as an opportunity to learn. That way I can share it with you. Once mine fails, I will share everything surrounding that incident. I've heard of a few situations where the DCT started to act up. I know of one situation where the DCT completely failed and it had to be taken into the dealership for it to be rebuilt. A few owners have reported that the DCT gets stuck in gear while they're on a ride. And it turned out in a few of the cases that I've read about that it was due to low voltage that created that. A couple of others have also reported that while they're riding at slow speeds, all of a sudden the bike dies. I've personally experienced that one time, and I'm going to show the video of when it occurred, but mine turned out to be a result of bad gas, and we'll talk about it in a minute. I personally experienced the bike behaving very strangely. It was backfiring and it sounded horrible. It was even dying. I'm going to show you a short clip of what happened while I was riding. It just died for no reason. The bike just turned off by itself. That was kind of weird. It turned out to be very bad gas. I ran the tank dry, and as soon as I put in new gas, the bike went back to normal. So keep that in mind. The DCT has a reset feature, and while performing the reset procedure, some have experienced it hanging and just going in an endless loop. I've personally seen that on two different bikes of friends of mine, and the way that that was fixed was to continue riding the bike for an extended period of time, and after some time it does complete that reset cycle. A couple of owners have experienced some problems resulting from removing the rear wheel, and while the dealership was removing the rear wheel, they damaged the pulsar ring, and that ring's job is to monitor the speed of the bike, and as a result the traction light came on as well as the ABS light. I'll get a close-up so you guys can see what that pulsar ring looks like. This is the pulsar ring right here, so be careful if you plan on removing the rear wheel. I have a video, I'll link it down so you guys can see what it's like to remove the rear wheel. It's not as easy as other bikes, but definitely doable. A few months into the ownership, a few people started to report that the dash started to show a reflection on the inside, almost like a rainbow. I'll show a picture. I experienced it as well, and several others have, but it's never come back again. I don't know what the cause is, but I think it has something to do with the changing atmospheric pressure, because for me it happened during the change from summer into fall. So far there has been only one recall for the bike. Not all bikes, mine was not included in that list, but there was a recall for the radiator cap to be replaced. A few owners have had issues with the radiator fluid leaking, and this is that relief nipple right here. A couple of owners reported that their water pump had to be replaced. Recently, one of the owners reported that their starter went bad and it had to be replaced at the dealership. Another commonly reported problem is that there is rust around the key on this ring. You see how it's discolored over here? Check this out. This is a plastic piece. What you saw over there is not rust, that was dirt. A few people have reported that their tanks are getting dented when they drop the bike. I've seen several pictures of this. Now, the reason why the tank is getting dented, it's not because the tank is making contact with the ground. It's actually because when the bike falls, let's say it's falling over to the left side, the handlebars violently twist in this fashion and the controls make contact over here, and that's what creates the dent. There is a larger distance over here in my case because I have risers on, but that is what causes the dent when the bike falls.
Here's another thing that I love about the Rebel DCT. I'm in manual right now and I'm going to show you something. Watch my finger. So I can shift like a manual and it'll hold the gear. You see that? 5, watch my finger, down to 4, 3, 2, 1, with rev matching too. Okay? And now I'm going to show you something else. Alright, so I'm in manual, 2nd, 3rd, and I want to resume my cruise control. So I'm going to hit resume. I'm in 3rd gear, and watch this. Hit it on automatic, watch the gears. I love that thing about the DCT. And this is what it's like when you want to resume in automatic. Watch. See that? It's going to take me up to 60 and it's changing gears by itself. This is another thing that I love about the bike. So now we're cruising, we're doing 40 miles in automatic, cruise control is engaged. I'm going to put it in manual and I'm going to downshift. Watch my fingers. Down to 2nd, it's going to hold the gear in 2nd. Watch my fingers. Hold it steady, steady. Upshift. Switch. Yeah, buddy. Still in manual mode. Now we have a couple of nice curves over here. We're going to hit manual, downshift, get in gear, 3rd gear, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Down. Woo! Tight. Down. And now we're done. Back in auto mode and enjoy the scenery. And this is my riding style with the DCT. Basically, if I'm in automatic mode, I'm cruising, I'm riding slowly, I'm enjoying it. My current settings are maximum power, maximum torque control or traction control, if you want to call it that, minimal engine braking to smooth things out when you're slowing down, and the most economical in terms of the transmission, so the lowest setting. And I'm just cruising, because if I'm going to be riding aggressively or in a more spirited fashion, I want to be in full control. I will not ride in a spirited fashion when the bike is in automatic. I would not recommend doing that because it is going to eventually shift mid-corner for you and you're not gonna like that. why risk it, man? Use it for cruising when you want to just relax and enjoy the views, and then when you want to have fun, click one button and take it to manual mode and have your fun. To sum things up, you guys, in a nutshell, I still absolutely love this bike. It is phenomenal. It works beautifully. No issues whatsoever. The power is addictive. The fun factor is through the roof, man. I love this bike. I have been looking for other bikes because I'm just curious and I want another bike, but I haven't found anything that comes anywhere near this bike in terms of its performance, the convenience, the ease of use, the low seat height, the power, the handling, the value that you get, the DCT. It is incredible. I love this bike. I cannot recommend it enough to you guys. That's all I'm going to say about this. I'm not going to try to sell you the bike. It's either you like it or you don't, but I would just want to represent my personal experience as an owner. If you guys have any questions, if you have any concerns, please let me know in the comments, and I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you guys have an amazing 2023.